Moderate GG is a bullshit term used by people trying to bullshit bullshitters into bullshitting other bullshitters into believing their specific brand of bullshit is the one and only true bullshit. One bullshit to rule them all, bullshit to blind them, and in the bullshit, bind them. That's all a certain group of people will need to hear to give me a very mighty description in the Key Warrior Arena, aka the comment section of this video, as to why
They are moderate and it's good. It's a good thing. And Variloh, he's just a radical.
which is fine. But for the rest of you who aren't afraid of critical thinking and don't want to hide behind the powerful deadbeat and deadweight disgraceful and deceitful term that is
Being nice.
welcome to the video. For the amount of time that you can spare, I will be your content provider. Sit back and enjoy the show. So where do we go from here? I made a pretty powerful statement and pissed off a bunch of people at the same time. It's kind of intimidating if you think about it. But hey, you can't be honest and most certainly can't be right without pissing a couple of people off. Well, I guess we start with the topic that the folks who just left us will be busy typing in the comment section. The term moderate GG and what it means. The thing I have to admit is I'm really, still, to this day, not 100% sure what a moderate gamergater really is. No, seriously, when I hear moderate GGer, I immediately hear,
Hi, I'm Fred, and I'm a moderate GGer. I only GG Mondays through Fridays. Saturdays are for me, compulsive masturbation. And Sundays are for Jesus or rewatching Ghostbusters. Depends which made-up ghost I wake up in the mood to see.
that last part is a little bit redundant, I know. And if it does not fit the part-timer mentality, what the fuck is it? Well, what I did is I divided this new term into its two parts and analyzed the one that I didn't understand. I've heard the term gamergater before, I'm comfortable with that one. It's the moderate part that I find a tad bit confusing. So let's start with that. The first real use of the word moderate, or the root idea moderation that I heard, was from my mother. She always told me,
Everything in moderation.
that was a popular catchphrase when I was young. Not too much, not too little, just right. A phrase my dad would use when putting mayonnaise on bread. I kind of feel I'm not the only one who grew up with this, since now we want to stick the word or concept into every single ideological view that we can think of. But it sounds safe though, doesn't it? Sounds rational. You can make anything sound less aggressive when you attach the word moderate, or the concept of moderation, to it. It makes people more comfortable with new or formerly edgy ideas. Don't believe me? I'm not a drinker, I'm a moderate drinker. I'm a moderate murderer, I only kill chickens. I'm a moderate porn consumer, not a pornaholic. And today's most overused and henceforth most diluted, I'm a moderate liberal, conservative, independent, or whatever your favorite flavored bullshit is. Me? I like to fuck with people. Just put that word in front of an extreme or radical idea. Not silly technicalities like the one I just discussed. I'm talking shit that people are flat out against or uncomfortable with. Walk into a church and say, I'm a moderate sexaholic. I'm a moderate compulsive masturbator. A moderate public urination enthusiast. A moderate drug user. That one usually surprises them as they light their Marlboro cigarette. Well, I can certainly see the appeal of making up the term moderate gamergater when I think about it in that perspective. People are uncomfortable with something, slap that motherfucking term on it, and presto, bitch, you now have a child-friendly term. PG or FS, full of shit and disingenuous. When you put it like that, it sounds like something you would hear in a commercial, doesn't it? Yeah, a commercial. Certainly does make the term itself more commercial or marketable. Tired of being called a harasser, a radical, scared of being labeled by crazy people who will do so anyway? Want to be taken seriously by people who don't care enough to inform themselves beyond Wikipedia? Well then, we have the club for you. I said moderate GG. That's right, moderate GG. Become a moderate GGer today and see immediate results. Susan?
Thanks, Bob. I became a moderate GGer and I instantly sounded less threatening to ignorant people and SJWs. Oh, I mean anti-gamers.
That's right, Susan. Become a moderate GGer today and receive your moderate catchphrases guide, which include the classics, like,
My focus is not SJWs, it's ethics and game journalism. Or, there's nothing wrong with holding a moderate stance.
and my personal favorite,
TB is an example of moderate GGer, despite the fact that he left the movement.
or the number one phrase used by moderate e-celebrities everywhere,
We need to bring anti-GG to the table. To the table.
Order now and receive our brand new updated phrases like,
Let's call anti-GG anti-gamers, because that is what they have in common, not their ideology. We won't fuck with that. We're moderate.
if you want to get on people's good side by fighting corruption, yet don't want to be exposed to any real risk of your YouTube career or otherwise, add the moderate title today. The moderate title will instantly make your content more appealing to the ignorant. I said more appealing to the ignorant. Or should I say fence sitters? But what does it mean to be a moderate GGer? Nothing at all. If nobody is mad at you, you're doing it right. No real stance and no real stress. Order now this exclusive TB offer and we will give you a free of charge our new buzzwords book. From the people who brought you the word misogyny, 2014's #1 word of silencing dissent, now bring you the rebranding and reusing of famous buzzwords like radical or extremist, which may be devoid of any real meaning, but get the job done when defending yourself against critics from inside your own movement. Being a GGer is no longer hip? Time to become a moderate. So GG moderate, it's a bullshit term, but it sure has a heck of a following, doesn't it? In the interest of being fair, another word that has been hijacked, might I add, that went from meaning justly representing and or boarding a situation based on circumstances and or facts to
everybody's voice is important. Your opinion is valid, even if they make no sense. Yay!
In my search for the true meaning of moderate GGer, I found moderates usually tend to fall in one of three categories when defending their title. Category number 1. They take it in the political sense, which they clearly think means something. These people are at the same time divided into two subgroups. The first one, which I like to call the naive nitwits, say they are moderate because they are in the middle, like a bologna sandwich or the cum between your lover's butt cheeks. That they see values in both sides of the argument against GG and for GG, which is really a pretty way of saying absolutely nothing. The second group, which usually holds those with double-digit IQ numbers, believe that they are in the center of GG itself, which means doesn't matter sounds pretty. Category 2. They say they are moderate because they are not radicals or extremists. They say they may seem similar to their double-digit IQ counterparts, but they take their stupidity a step further. You see, they define themselves as an antonym and get very upset when you call this into question. They are usually the ones that hold their definition is bullshit, reject open debate, and call you a radical MRA extremist. Beat their chest, and like a giant gorilla who just captured a pretty lady, go to the nearest office building and jack off uncontrollably in the bathroom. Category 3. The third group, these are my favorite. They simply point to Total Biscuit and Monday Matt and go, "Me like a them," and then continue to eat their applesauce while bumping their football helmet into their food tray. I remember the good old days when we called a GamerGator a GamerGator. The time when it wasn't a surname to some dumb qualifier that somebody made up. That's right, folks, we made it up. And the fact that I can daydream about GG's good old days is disturbing, especially considering the movement, revolt, counterculture, or whatever the fuck moderates feel comfortable calling it these days is less than half a year old. Moderate GG. I continue to search for the meaning where there was none, probably because I'm a glutton for punishment, and found another interesting trait moderates share. What they perceive to be the only necessary step to solve this whole problem: sending emails. That's right, that's the stone in which we kill Goliath, and at the same time the laziest form of activism known to man. Send your emails, they say. Fill in the form, click, and send. Eureka! You help fix the problem that is bigger than gaming. Gives you a warm feeling, doesn't it? People like it too. Activism at its finest. Short-term gains for little to no work. How many emails have you sent today? It works. Look, Gawker lost millions. Haha! A billion-dollar company lost millions, and our evidence is that their CEO said so. Remember, they're a private stock. We have no idea if their stock points went up or down. Who cares if their traffic is up? They lost millions. Celebrate and put your head down and send more emails. Also, ignore the real problem. Ignore the fact that we aren't ripping the weed from its roots. Ignore the fact that certain advertisers like Blizzard still have their very expensive ads up, or that earlier victories have reverted back into their original stance. And are now directly funding feminist frequency and looking to change the tech industry itself. Not just gaming, the tech industry. People get mad when I bring this up.
What do you suggest we do? You're crazy. We're #winning.
A subjective term that at best I have to admit that I have as well have used without using critical thinking in the past. Winning. Let's analyze our games, shall we? What have we gained? Well, Gawker lost millions, allegedly at least, and we've gotten gamers to more critically think about the websites that they visit, be them part of the movement or not. You see, this last one is what I call real victory. It's an ideological change. People are now thinking. That's a good thing. But that's it. And this is the part that moderates scream at the screen and go, "We have forced websites to disclose more info and publicly implement a code of ethics. The conversation is on the table." Well, yeah, it is. It is on the table. And we might just be able to fix this particular medium in time for its own funeral. That's right, remember? YouTube is the next big thing. More people trust YouTubers than websites anyway. But sure, let's attack these bloggers and fix them. You see, the problem is we're too scared to fight the ideology. Scared to call out this progressive bullshit what it is. Because if we do, we will be branded with that other meaningless word that we're really afraid of. Conservative.
SJWs are extremist.
Bullshit. They are the representatives of that ideology, despite what Mr. David Pacman will tell you. If they were a crazy extremist and a minority in their ideology, why would Mr. Pacman suck up to them? You don't fear a pocket of people. Anita Quinn and Wu are not representatives of feminism. I have said this in the past as well, until you look at the fact that Christina Summers is not the one on the front page of the New York Times. She's not doing dozens of interviews. She doesn't make it onto the Colbert Report. No, she got into 2 minutes on MSNBC. And she certainly didn't get funding from Intel. You see, we seem to be afraid of criticizing what an ideology is now because we agree with what it used to be. If you call feminism bullshit, you'll be branded as a misogynist or an MRA. No, you have to make that very important distinction. Third wave feminism, or modern feminism, or sex negative modern feminism, or sex negative third wave neo modern feminism, or sex negative third wave neo radical extremist modern feminism. And we dilute and bullshit a little bit more, and the people we try to fight use the more catchy root versions of the ideas, and nobody can stop them. So we segregate and label. We ignore what's on our face, ignore that an idea has gone to hell, and that people in the movement need to fight the crazies, who are now representatives of their movement, and remove them. It's not our job. Instead, we make up labels and imaginary subgroups. The general IQ of the population slips a couple more points, and nothing gets accomplished. You imagine if we did the same shit with sports? The Babbling Blue Jays. Well, granted the Babbling Blue Jays have a .330 record, but they won 3 championships 60 years ago, so the Babbling Blue Jays don't suck. Modern Babbling Blue Jays suck. Well, 2 years ago they came close to winning their division. So it's not modern Babbling Blue Jays that suck, it's 7th wave the modern Babbling Blue Jays that suck. Well, they had a good defense this year and fuck, we lost again. If it weren't for this 7th wave, neo-modern, offense-heavy, gun-shy, impractical, conservative, extremist, money-spending, radical Babbling Blue Jays. And that way, you're not on a losing or fundamentally broken team. We're all winners, and the boat sinks a little bit more. Whoops, better make up a couple more buzzwords. My knees are getting wet. Moderate GG. Let's say we make it, though. Let's say we bring Gawker down just in time for YouTubers to take over. And the idea is that the mainstream support survives, and oh no, how can this be? X and Y YouTuber are now crooked and corrupt. Oh no, how did this happen? They're friends with the same people we brought down? They aren't perfect? How could they let this happen? Me? I'm partially responsible for not staying vigilant? For not attacking the root problem instead of the symptom? Fuck that. I'll watch more memes of my cat, and as a matter of fact, I'll send more emails and that sort of crap. And I'll do it again. And hey, live streamers are the future anyway, so I'll end the day the same way I started it, by complaining about the symptoms, jerking off, and falling asleep. And the games we like disappear one at a time. Not completely taken out, no. We still have GTA 7. Well, of course, it's a gem in a sea of Depression Quest 109 and Revolution 60 Part 666, or Dragon Age Lesbian's Rage. It does have that really big sexist tag that occupies half the box, though. I remember the good old days, before this neo-radical 12th wave, extremist, sex-negative, bio-positive, corruption, unethical, feminist SJW people showed up. If only we knew, we would have sent more emails. Now, I've gone on a tangent here, I agree. But it certainly does help paint a picture of the moderate GGer. However, unless I am to fall victim of the same thing that the people I critique do, I have to look at what I believe is the root problem of the moderate GGer itself, which in the grammatical sense is the word moderate and its current use, not just in GG, but in the mainstream as well. The birth of our moderately mannered, mundane manifestation of GG comes from the true schism in the movement, a division between those who want to be appealing and those who want to be right. People don't mind being knocked off the high horse of truth as long as they land in a big pile of money. And now here we are, at the end of Bullshit Boulevard, right at Jerk-Off Junction. We must now define what that other group in GG is. Moderates have described them as radical or extremist GGers, which strikes me as not only odd, but makes me cringe, despite what the mainstream media wants to shove down our throats. Radical and extremist, not the same thing. Radical used to be a cool word. It was slang by that mutant group of anthropomorphic reptiles trained in the art of ninjutsu, who were somewhere between the ages of 13 and 19, aka the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In its political sense, however, it wasn't always the boogeyman under the bed that it's become today. From the Latin word root, it was used in reference to a movement or political ideology that wanted to fundamentally change a system, and in fact has been associated with liberal ideologies through most of American history. You want to look at some radical ideas? Well, I'll give you a couple. Ending slavery. That was a radical idea back in the day. Racial segregation isn't good. Radical idea. Equal pay for equal work. Radical idea. And in some places in the world, gay marriage. Still a radical idea. So, but again, these are all considered radical ideas, and yet they didn't fear the word radical. We do. You see, we fear because it's now conflated with the Sauron of words, extremist. It's so feared because now both radical and extremist are associated with the mental picture of a crazy guy from the Middle East about to blow himself up. Oh, that's racist. Well, maybe. Probably. But in fact, I'll bet you a cookie that the first thing you think of when I say the word radical is la 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 boom. And so we use silly terms and delude meaning. We fight amongst ourselves. The schism I talked about earlier, the real division between those who are moderate and those who are honest, is that moderates want ethics in game journalism and to appeal to neutrals, another bullshit term we'll look at in the future. The people who are after almost 5 months still don't know that GG is and somehow it's our fault. We need to appeal to these people who don't know what GG is after 5 months. It's our fault they don't know. The other dark and damned group are those who understand that the SJW progressive hard liberal or whatever you want to call it agenda is the true root problem that needs to be dealt with. And if it doesn't, get ready for YouTubeGate and LivestreamerGate in the future. Be ready to see us start from square one over and over again. But hey, we can always send another email and feel good about ourselves, can't we? If you got all the way to the end, congratulations. You have my thanks. And if you excuse me, I have to go back to Twitter and look at all those lewd pictures in those op post lewds posts. Now that's my kind of activism. Peace out, everybody.